Hey guys, Jason Rigby, ABQ Business Podcast. Today, we're going to do something that some of you are going to like, maybe some of you won't like. I'm going to get a little controversial. And, okay, what do you mean by that, Jason? As normally I don't, and you guys know that. I mean, I can be kind of hard-hitting, but those are the things that I'm getting hit by personally that I share with you. But there's something that I do every morning that I think is essential for everyone to do. I think it's helpful, and that is read in the morning with a cup of coffee to get your day started before you get the email, that text message answered, that Slack, all these different channels that are coming at us. I don't answer any of them, or I may answer them really quick if it's to be honest with you guys, I may answer them really quick and then put my phone away and then have my coffee. But I like to read, and I've been doing it here lately. I like to read a leadership book in the morning because it kind of gets my mind geared up to get ready to lead, especially when I have to respond back to emails and such. And so here lately, I've been reading the John Maxwell, and if you're a student of leadership, all of you have heard of John Maxwell. I've been reading the Maxwell Leadership Bible. You're like, whoa. We're talking religion here, Jason? I want to share something with you. Whether you're a Christian or not, or whatever religion you are, or spirituality, and you guys know, I have another podcast. It's called the Higher Density Living Podcast, and it is a spiritual podcast that gives my clear views on a lot of different things and a lot of different subjects. So, and I do that with Alexander McCaig too. So if you want to know about that, that's that, Higher Density Living Podcast. But I enjoy the Bible. Do I agree with all of it 100%? No. But I enjoy it. I enjoy reading it. I love the stories that are in it. I think there's a lot of truth in it. There's a lot of wisdom in it. And I love it to the point of where I always want it to be a part of, I would prefer it to be a part of my daily life. That's why I've been reading this one every day, because it has leadership notes in it. But I think it helps me and makes me a better person and causes me to think in a way that I'm being selfless to others. I'm putting love first. It's that servant leadership. And Jesus, whether you disagree or agree, whether you like Jesus or not, he is the most influential person in the world, and examples of servant leadership constantly over and over and over again is Jesus. So however you believe him, that's not for me to judge. And I think if this causes you to kind of close up and be judgmental, then you need to check your leadership on that. I mean, I believe everybody should read philosophy. They should read different types of religious books that are out there. That's what I do. I read a lot of different types of philosophy, the Quran, whatever it may be. You need to read them all. I know you're like, oh my goodness, but most of the time we focus on the radical fundamentalist, but there are beautiful aspects of each part of religion. And you say, well, I'm atheist or agnostic. Well, if you look at them as stories, whether you look at them as fiction, nonfiction, you believe 100% of the Bible, whatever it is, if you look at the stories that are in the Bible, you're going to get amazing leadership principles out of them. So I want to start Matthew chapter 2 in the Maxwell Leadership Bible, and he talks about security. This is one of the 21 qualities of a leader. And he starts off this way. The tremendous insecurity of King Herod became apparent when strangers announced Jesus' birth. Upon hearing the news, Herod grew angry, impatient, self-consumed, and disturbed. Let me stop right there. This is so good. Think about this. When you hear news, and King Herod's a bad guy, we'll get into him here in a second, but when you hear bad news, do you react as a leader this way? So he perceived this to be bad news. It's threatening his throne. It's a dog-eat-dog world. I need to kill this kid before he grows up and causes me a problem or my family a problem. So he gets angry. He gets impatient. He gets self-consumed, and he's disturbed. This is a good self-awareness tool right here to see how you react, to see your emotional intelligence when you have perceived bad news, especially news that may threaten your position. Oh, I heard the CEO's talking to somebody for blah, blah, blah. This shows insecurity. And John Maxwell says this. He says, all signs of an insecure leader. And he says, insecure leaders share several common traits. And I want to go through those with you because we're going to look at effective leadership, what a healthy leader looks like emotionally and spiritually, and then what an insecure leader looks like. So let's start with insecurity. Here we go. Insecure leader. They don't provide security for others. This is all about narcissistic self. Anything that I'm filtering through my brain, anything I see, hear, taste, or smell is all about me. And I don't like this. So everyone around me, I'm going to make sure they know that I don't like this. Threats. That shows insecurity. Do you have to threaten people for them to get their work done? I had a situation this morning where I had to think of my response because my response was going to be a threat. I was angry. I was impatient. And I had to look at it and say, nope, not going to do it this way. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a loving question. I'm going to put them first and let them respond in a way that they can share with me what's going on with them. And sure enough, they did. And I'm so glad that I did it that way because we got to the root of the issue and it was something different than I thought. So if I'd have just went off, I would have went off on the wrong thing because I think that I know what they're thinking and I had no idea that it was this, this, and this. And so we addressed those things. Sure enough, back on track, ready to go. Apology and everything. So they don't provide security for others. That's number one. Number two, they take more than they give. I see this all the time. Leaders suck the energy out of a room. They always have to be the center of attention. I'm thinking of a leader right now that I know. No matter what situation they go into, they interrupt, they talk, and then they play victim so that other people will tell them how good. They're always searching for a compliment. They're always wanting other people to tell them how amazing they are. People are always out to get them. This is number two. They take more than they give. I always look at, and this is an old analogy, how much have I deposited into their bank account before I take a withdrawal? I want to make sure I have $10,000 worth of deposits before I take a $1,000 withdrawal. If I've put a lot of deposits in there, then I need to have the balls enough to take a deposit when I need to, when I think there's a problem. Number three, they continually limit their best people because they're fearful of them. You may have been this way as a young leader. A lot of young leaders have experienced this where somebody limited you. Why did they limit you? They limited you because they were threatened by you, because they were worried that you would take over the position. Jesus threatened King Herod this way. Because now you got all these people, they're all excited. The Messiah's here, the Messiah's here. Yay, yay, yay. He's going to deliver us from the Romans. King Herod's like, no. I'm the king. This is my position. I have this all set up. I've politically worked this all out with the Romans. They're paying me. I got the Jewish leaders paying me. I'm that go-between between Rome and the Jewish traditions with the temples and all that. I am that guy. I'm the go-between. That's me, not Jesus, not anybody else but me. So do you limit your best people? Decentralized leadership, and Jocko Willing talks about this a lot. Decentralized leader is that everyone's a leader. So all you're doing is facilitating, coaching, and asking questions and letting them lead. And then when they get off on path, asking them questions to get back on path. Number four, they continually limit or sabotage their organization's success. I have seen this over and over and over again. The comfort level of the leader, they literally will keep it at that level and not do better because that is all they emotionally and intelligently can understand. In that, let me explain this. I want to do a better job of explaining this. I'm thinking the leader right now that will tell lies, manipulate to make sure that the C-suite knows exactly where they stand and how hard everything is. Always the hero, and there's something in his way that somebody else has put there that they're working to overcome. And as long as there's an obstacle, and it's always a different obstacle, and it's very creative in the way that they make this up. They literally play chess all the time, and so I think they think about this. They play chess online, and they think about this all the time. There's always an obstacle. They never can get past being reactive because there's always something that they have to climb over. And that rock or boulder is always, it can be ice, it can be a heat desert. They're always creative in the way that they present the boulder. And everyone buys off on it. And everyone thinks they're doing an amazing and great job, but they've never brought the company up. In that division of the company has never gone up. And you need to check yourself on this. What areas am I getting too comfortable in? How do I make myself uncomfortable in this area and this area? Have my sales stayed the same for 4 years? Has nothing changed in marketing? It's the bottom line. I'm doing okay. I'm doing great, but it's not amazing. Why? That's number 4. Insecure leaders. They continue, limit, or sabotage their organization's success. I've seen outright sabotage for this. If I can't be the center of attention, I will sabotage things. Seen this over and over and over again. Point of losing clients. And you've seen this. A salesperson gets pissed off and they start telling their clients how bad the company is. Then you start losing accounts. Number 5. They spend more energy trying to keep their job than to do their job. This is the whole idea of, the ass kisser, the one that's always in the boss's office. And they're spending more time walking around, making sure everybody is happy. This is insecurity. You see what I'm saying? They're walking around making sure everybody's happy. And then if everybody's happy, they're having a good day. If one person is pissed off at them, see how narcissistic that is? Then it's a bad day and everybody's going to suffer. You can do this in your home life too. You come home and you're gauging how everything, I think, and I'm not being disparaging when I say this, females have more emotional, intuitive senses with this. So I think they can experience, I've seen this with female leaders because they're more caring and loving, in general than male leaders, that they will fall into this trap in the sense of that they're thinking, oh, okay, Bill's mad at me or Susan's mad at me. So, I need to make sure that I mend that and make sure everything's great. And, and then they're just running, trying to, but you can't. People can be pissed off for absolutely no reason. Then you're wasting time sending this. I've seen people waste an hour sending this long email. And the other person sends them like 4 words back. Oh, no, we're good. Everything's fine. You just wasted a whole hour. They spend more energy. This is number 5. They spend more energy trying to keep their job than to do their job. That's why execution is so important. Strategy, whatever, execution. That's what keeps you your job. If you execute at a high level, you're in the top 10% of leaders. You will always have a job. If you're executing right and leading your people right, those 2 combos put you in the 1% then. You have a lot of managers that can execute, but they can't lead. You have a lot of leaders that just sit around and strategize, and they may coach and stuff like that, but they don't execute. Execution and good leadership, you work on those 2 things, you're top 1%. So what does effective leadership look like? John Maxwell said this: effective leadership begins with an emotionally and spiritually healthy leader. Why is this true, he asks. Why must we focus on our personal security? Why do we need to focus on our personal security? He gives 6 things, and we're going to go through this. These 6 reasons. Leadership must flow out of being, not merely doing. Oh, it's so good. Let me say this again. Leadership must flow, get the keyword flow, out of being, not merely doing. Your tasks and you executing and you doing is not you being a good leader. It is you being physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, being the leader. You're going to the gym, you're working out, you're eating good food. You're doing everything that you need to do. You're reading. Emotionally, you're understanding situations that are around you. That's being the leader. But we so focus on the tasks of what we're doing. Our whole school system's built off of this. Number 2, strong character is necessary to sustain strong conduct. This is something I think that, we're talking Bible. John Maxwell's, was a pastor, Christian, and I love his books. This is something that I think, and I don't want to get in this too heavy because I don't want to turn this into a political conversation, but character is important. And I think any philosophy that's out there where you're Marcus Aurelius or Stoicism, you can have a Stoicism and not believe anything of the Bible or Christianity or whatever. You can be in Judaism, strong ethics, strong character. So I'm not just talking Christianity here. I want you guys to know that. But strong character is it's necessary. As a leader, you have to stand out from everybody else. Everybody else is weak. You're strong. You have strong conduct. You can say no. You may want that, but you have to say no. Our ego wants everything. Our ego wants the cheese puffs, the hot secretary, the cheating to get your numbers right. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's like, yeah, I'll have all of this. What happens? You would be obese, no marriage, unhappy, lose your job. If you did everything that your ego wanted. If you're just this pure hedonist. Strong character is important. How do you develop strong character? Discipline. Being the leader. Going to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym. Being professional with people when they are kind of flirty with you and recognizing that you're turned on by this person. And maybe even telling your partner or your wife, say, hey, there's somebody attractive in my work. I just want to let you know so that you can hold me accountable on it. Most people don't have that transparency in a relationship. It's beautiful when you do because you're shining the light on it and you're saying, hey, I value our relationship so much that I'm going to share with you that I'm attracted to this person physically and I have to work with them every day because I want you to hold me accountable of how it's going with them. It's beautiful. That's strong character. That's strong conduct. Number 3, insecure leaders cause their organizations to plateau. We kind of went into that a little bit, so I don't want to get too heavy into that. Number 4, personal security provides the infrastructure to support leaders in adversity. This is so important. This is what everybody wanted when COVID first hit. Remember when it first hit? We didn't have any leaders. We saw all the leaders on both sides. Politically, all the leaders fell apart. I mean, there was very few leaders that stood up, and we saw how narcissistic they were. On all, like I'm saying, Republican, Democrat, Independent, it doesn't matter. I didn't see any strong leadership. I'm trying to think of somebody right now that just displayed strong leadership. I saw some corporations that did a great job in leading through adversity. I saw some small business owners that kicked ass and did great. This provides infrastructure so when adversity hits, it's there. It's rock solid. Number 5, insecure leaders will never empower and develop secure followers. So that's why you don't have good talent. You have mediocre people. You can't keep good talent because a good, emotionally intelligent person will say, oh, that leader's insecure. They're making it all about themselves. I'm out. Even subconsciously, they may not say that out loud, but subconsciously they'll do that. Number 6, inward strength provides the only hope of finishing well. Inward strength provides the only hope of finishing well. And then he says, most of us struggle with feelings of insecurity. Leadership roles, however, work like a magnifying glass on our personal insecurity, blowing everything out of proportion because we know everyone is watching. We tend to react by trying to cover up our flaws rather than being honest. This is yet another reason why leaders must commit to laying a foundation of strong personal security. And I'm going to get into this next podcast of how we, through our leadership, develop the 4 fundamental human needs in every person that's in our organization. But think of and I want to close on this, think of a magnifying glass. That a leader, when you say I am a leader, or somebody says you're a leader, think of a magnifying glass on every weakness that you have. Your personal insecurities, your ego, there's a magnifying glass on that. And that's what you get to be able to see. If you can be self-aware enough, that's why self-awareness is so important. I talk about it every podcast. Because you can see it, you can recognize it, then it won't trip you up. You can be, you know what? I don't mind having a candy bar every once in a while, but those free candy bars at work that I eat every day, that's going down the wrong path. It's something little, but it turns into something big. It's me giving in when I don't need It's a lie. It's not good for me. I'm instantly taking instant satisfaction instead of having discipline and saying no. And if I start cheating in that area, then I'm going to cheat in other areas of my life. See the magnifying glass? So that little candy bar becomes something that's even more. So I love this, and I hope you guys love this. I'm gonna try to do some more of these and mix them in. But these are the 21 Qualities of a Leader by John Maxwell. Any of his books, you can get them on eBay used. Very, very inexpensive because he's wrote so many. I think he's got like 50 books or something he's wrote. Amazing leader, amazing. Everything that he's ever done, he's been there, done it, got the T-shirt. Like he's built mega churches everywhere he's gone, built huge leadership networks and teams and businesses. So he's a true leader, truly understands people. I love that he's so positive and that he's so visionary. If you want to learn how to be positive with your people, if you want to learn how to communicate, like you go on and just type John Maxwell and listen to him communicate on YouTube. You're going to learn a lot. I love listening to these older leaders. I think he's in his 70s now, close to it if he's not. I love listening to older leaders that have been doing it for 50 plus years like he has. There's so much wisdom. We all can learn from him. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Keep leading, keep learning, keep understanding, and I guarantee you'll be a better leader.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.